interesting. One is on logistics trends. Another is on the digitization of warehousing and logistics. Then we talk about warehouse best practices. Where is the role of warehouse in driving excellence? Now we are going to talk about next topic. I would like to invite if Alex is already available to the stage. Uh, uh, Praveen, if Alex is available already, yeah. Good morning, Alex. Long
السلام
time.
عليكم السلام عليكم
Salam.
كيف
Great
حالك؟
to see you. Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
Okay, thanks.
So you are in Dubai or you are in
Yeah, that's a good question. No, I'm in Malta at the moment.
Oman? Okay, fantastic. It must be uh, 9 o'clock, maybe
It,
nine
it
thirty,
is 8:30.
8:30. Oh, too early. Okay, great. So thank you, Alex, for joining again
Welcome.
this for the
And
session. Let me give you a quick round of introduction. Uh, Alexander Borg. He is a chartered trainer and advisors with 30 plus years of experience in logistics, transportation, and supply chain management. He is the founder of Support and Supply Chain Management Group and a key leader in strengthening CILT International and IOACM across Middle East. A respected industry voice, serving on multiple public, private, and NGO boards since 2000. His vast experience in the warehousing, logistics, and supply chain is really motivating. And I always prefer to listen to you, Alex. So, good morning to you and welcome.
thank you.
And
Thank you.
over to you to to share your
Thank you.
experiences in the topic. The topic of Alex is managing logistics and disruptions in volatile environment. It's a fantastic topic, very suitable for this VUCA environment. Thank you very much, Alex. Over to you. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much. First, I would like to thank you again for to joining this wonderful group of people and experts and share our knowledge and to learn from it as well because it's a two-way. Okay, it's a two-way communication. It's an ongoing and it's an evolving world which we learn from it. It's not only to provide information but to get information as well because it's not a matter of our field and sector of logistics, transport, and supply chain is evolving every single minute, every single second. So it's not a matter that I know it all. You have to keep your foot on the ground and follow what is happening around you 360 degrees, which we are going to talk about today. So there is so much things that are happening that have been happening around us and that are happening around us. I have been following last session from Mr. Shankaran, very practical. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. And I would like to take a snapshot from his presentation where he said it's important that when you have the people around you, that you must build on them, you must show them and build on them. That's very crude, because most of the time, especially if we want to talk about risk in logistics and transport and supply chain, the first thing we need to do is to make sure that the inbound risk are mitigated and mapped, because before we go out of our doors we have to have control of the inbound to make sure that at least the risk outside the international, local, and international business can can be mapped and tackled. There isn't any, so as we all know, there isn't any solution to one solution to all, because it doesn't exist. Every day we wake up, it's a new day, and there is challenges that wake up with us, and we have to be prepared and use our knowledge, our skills, the information that we have around us, the network that we have around us, the people around us, to tackle the day-to-day challenges that we have around us. So it's true what Mr. Shankaran have said, that we have to build and tackle and make sure that the people who are working around us etc. Okay, what's going on in the real world? Let us be practice. What is going on? So much of it, so much. As we know, maybe around 20 years ago, 10 years ago, supply chain was not always, logistics supply chain was not always on top of the agenda. So, but what happened in the recent years, especially when pandemic came, and and it brought a lot of shakeups and rethinking of what is happening around us, and we had to rethinking what we are going to do, where we are going, and how to get there. So it wasn't an easy job for no one, especially especially on operations management, where they need to make sure that the product reach the right customer at the right time, in the right condition, at the right cost. It wasn't easy task. It was a very challenging task. And those of us who are in the sector, especially on the ground, on operations, they know that it was a very, very tough time. Many warehouses and distribution centers were almost 50% empty. So many people had to think outside the box what they are going to do. So it wasn't an easy task. But anyway, everything, there is the plus and minus. There was a lot of negative impact on business during the pandemic, and it brought a huge risk issue about what we were doing, and brought a lot of questions: what is going to happen tomorrow? you know so, and time flies quick. So people start to thinking, I think the pandemic brought a lot of change in the mindset, a lot of change in the way we think, and in the way we approach things in the logistics, land transport, and supply chain. Why? Because if we thought that the pandemic have been with us for 1 year or 2 years, I don't know, it's going to finish and we will be back where we were. That is not the case, because after the pandemic we had other matters around us, on a global situation. You know what I'm talking about. Ukraine, Russia, Israel, Palestine. So many things, and everything can impact, small or large. Even when, for example, Egypt, they have issues with the canal. Okay, it will impact again the shipping, and as you know, so every move that is happening geographically on a global level, okay, every move, it will impact the supply chain, and that will have impact on who's managing or operating the logistics and supply chain. It's not easy, especially with the targets that are imposed on us in terms of customer satisfaction, cost, standards, etc., etc. So it's not an easy for no one nowadays working in the logistics and supply chain, because I think we go to bed, we are laying on the bed to try to sleep, but our mind is still going on. At least I bring my example. I am when I my kids. Maybe I share something with you, which is really lovable. When in the old days, when I had, I have two kids. When they used to saw me moving during the night, they used to saw me moving in the corridor with a pen, writing notes, at 3 in the morning, and then I go back to sleep, because still my ideas, still some points pop up in my mind, and not to forget, I used to write them down, and I will go to sleep. They used to call me crazy. But anyway, that's how it is, because people like us who are in the movement of goods and movement of people and the logistics, it's not easy. It's not easy. We have to be always intrinsic, so open-minded, see what is happening, etc., etc. And we just seen what happened, even when there is an election of a new prime minister or a new president. Okay, that can bring change in policies. And you know what happened in the US and I don't need to elaborate too much about it, because when President Trump have started to implement a lot of tax in different countries, it has brought so much concerns, eh, in the way trading between borders and between countries were going to be affected. You know, it happens all the time. There's no it happens all the time. So people and organizations have to be ready for this kind of challenges and changes that are happening around us 24/7. That is the situation. Nothing else. Nothing else. If you want to stay in business, and as Mr. Shankaran have said, if you want to sustain the business, because before you move forward and grow, the first fundamental thing, you have to sustain what you have, right? As he rightly said, you have to be alert, 360 degrees, what is happening around you, and also try to anticipate, okay, what can take place in the coming days and months. We can't speak about years now. It's too much. Now we have to talk about days and months, days, weeks, and maybe months. We can't talk about years because no one knows exactly what is going to happen tomorrow. So at least we can talk about days, weeks, and maybe months. That's it. No more. So anyway, but we try to anticipate. So coming back, let me share the PowerPoint. Okay. Um, okay. Um, okay. So my name is Alex. I am the managing director for the Institute of Supply Chain, which is based in Newcastle, for the Middle East. I have been involved in logistics for almost 30 years, and I have been in the Middle East for 21 years. My first steps were in 2003, and before I was the regional director for the Chartered Institute of Logistics and Transport, and now I'm the regional officer for the Institute of Supply Chain, which is based in Newcastle, and we have a branch in Dubai where we cater for the whole Middle East, Saudi, Dubai, Oman, Bahrain, etc. So yeah, I've been on the ground for many years. I have done many jobs in the Middle East, both on training and advisory, and the most satisfaction thing that the most thing that gives me a lot of satisfaction is meeting people, sitting together, talking about supply chain, what are the challenges, how we can sharing knowledge, how we can tackle them, and you remain friend and colleague of all the network in the whole UAE and the whole Middle East. So anyway, let's start with the first slide. Today, we try to understand the major risk, assess the impacts, um, and apply mitigation strategies, build resilience operations, and we try to identify and manage and reduce logistics risks in environments that are unpredictable. Okay, this is exactly what I said in my introduction, where there are so many things that are happening, and we try to come with a plan in place, plan A, plan B, plan C. Now, we all know that as the world is moving forward, there are situations where we know that the risk. I will say that. Allow me to say that uh, um, you cannot take. You try, as Mr. Shankaran have said, we try to take ownership of our operations, which I totally agree with him, 100%. But in the same time, when it comes to ownership of the operations, I totally agree, totally agree. But when it comes to plan and make a strategy, plan and make a strategy forward to managing logistics and transport, uh, both on local or regional and international level, you need also the people around you to discuss it, not only from your organization, but also from your suppliers and stakeholders. Why? Because managing risk, um, regional and global supply chain, is not about your organization alone. Your partners are part of your organization, part of your community, part of your international supply chain. So basically, what I'm trying to say is that you need to think outside the box and try that to share your ideas, your views, how to mitigate and manage the strategies and build a relevant operation. This is not something which you. It's not a matter of that you should feel proud and say I would like to do it on my own. Okay, if you would like to do it on your own, there's nothing wrong. But nowadays, we all know that the game change, the situation have changed, and it's not a matter of do it on your own. You have to collaborate. You have to partner, not only in the operations, but even in your approach, in the way you plan things, in the way you execute things, in the way you build your strategy. Okay. And so you need everyone around you, because more ideas you put in the pool, okay, the chances that you come up with a good strategic plan. Okay.
Uh,
Um, uh, and the other thing is that what strategy you have changed, what strategy you have used today, it doesn't mean you have going to use the same strategy tomorrow. So because you might need a game change in tomorrow. This is like, allow me to bring an example, if you allow me, please. It's like a football game, it doesn't mean that you play against one team the same strategy, you're going to use the same strategy, the same against another team. You have to change the gameplay. So it's the same thing. Okay. Especially that there are
Alex,
so
sorry, you're changing the slides, no, right?
no, no, slides are
Yes.
on, right?
Yeah, we have a slide in objective in the normal mode, not in the PowerPoint slide mode.
You have
Yeah,
a slide on what?
objectives. Yeah.
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 Okay, I'm moving to the others.
Yes, yes, yes. We can see it.
Okay, okay, okay. So basically, what I'm saying is, it doesn't mean that you're going to use a strategy, the same strategy today, you're going to use the same strategy and process tomorrow. Okay, because the situation is changing a lot. Okay, so let us now look at what could be the logistics risk management. First, there is a lot of volatility in the global markets in many aspects. There is a complex supply chain and interconnecting risks. There is also rising in high customer expectations, and the importance of proactive risk management. So, yeah, I would say that when you look at the different modes of transport, and land, air, sea, etc., there's so many volatility in the global markets which are taking place. Okay, which so basically you have to be prepared for these kinds of risk. You have to map them, anticipate them, and try to find a solution to your situation. And as the financial sector say, in the stock exchange, the past is not guarantee of the future, right? So basically, that is a very good example. So basically, what I said earlier, that the strategy that you have used yesterday doesn't mean that it's going to be the strategy of tomorrow. So you have to be prepared what is going on. And another thing, ground intelligence, ground intelligence, business intelligence, ground business, market intelligence. These are all fundamental for you to take feeds from the market. So it will help you to minimize, okay, minimize your risk. The risk is always there. Our job is to minimize it. Okay, the risk is always there because business is built on risk. Now we know that, but the most important thing that we minimize it and we control it. That's our objective. And then the second point is the global supply chain and interconnected risk. You know, especially when it comes to cross borders, new policies, new government customs, new costs, etc., etc. So you have to be prepared for this. Sometimes there are surprises which we face, which especially on time and cost. But you need to be prepared for this kind of things. We know that. Yeah, customer expectations are always on the high because now social media, especially with the e-commerce and B2B and B2C, etc., etc., because the expectation of the clients are increasing all the time, so you have to be prepared. So I takes point for Mr. Shankara where he said make sure that they don't look at the warehouse as a cost center, but more of a hub and to take the best out of it. So make sure you organize your warehouse to make sure that at least from your side you're well equipped and organized. And the other is we need to have a proactive risk management approach. That's very important, to face the situation. Now, key sources of logistics. So, what could be environmental and natural disasters? We are facing that nowadays. Geopolitical tensions. We spoke about it. Transportation delays and capacity shortages, supplier reliability issues, labor shortages, and technology favor and cyber threats. Yeah, everyone knows that environment and natural disasters are happening, right? So we need to make sure we have Plan B or Plan C in place. Yeah, geopolitical tensions are there, um, and allow me to say, I think they will stay with us. So we have to work around them. Okay, transport delays and capacity shortages. Okay, on a positive note, at least if we look at the Middle East, there have been so many investment on the infrastructure like the rail, and and that is going to change, especially with the movement of people and movement of goods. We had so many infrastructure. If I take two particular countries, which are UAE and Saudi Arabia, which I know very well, there have been the investments in the infrastructure and in the rails, which are making the supply chain more easier and fast, etc., etc. The fourth point is the supplier reliability issues. Yeah, we need a good relationship and communication with suppliers to make sure that the risk is minimized and controls, and and both if it is a continuous supplier or as seasonal supplier, keep the communication ongoing. Don't It's important that even if you don't buy goods from a particular supplier, you buy goods to a certain stage of the year, which are seasonal things, seasonal stock, but keep communication and relationship with him, because you never know what you could be. In the supply chain, you need the support of everyone. Yeah, labor shortages. This is happening everywhere. It's happening in Malta, it's happening in Europe, it's happening everywhere. Okay, this is becoming the biggest challenge we have everywhere. Um, yeah, you need people who know what to do, how and when. And so, as I take point from my previous colleague, Mr. Shankaran, you need to not impose instructions on them, but rather show them and build a good team around you. It's important. It's not easy task. And the last one is the technology and cyber threats. Yeah, it's an ongoing process, unfortunately, but we need to organize ourselves. We need a good system in place. There are so many warehouse management systems. There are so many logistic systems. There are so many ERP systems in place. Now we have AI in place as well, and AI continue to evolve. So we have so many things, and and you need to keep on investing in the technology and cyber risk. You need to keep on investing. There's no doubt about it. Types of distributions in logistics. Well, there is operational distributions, equipment breakdowns, and warehouse issues. Um, I don't think I need to talk about this because the previous speaker has already addressed this point. Transport distribution, port congestion, and route closure. Yes, it is happening. This one, okay. So it's important that we are connected and we stay alert with the situation, both on a local, regional, and global. Supply chain disruption, material shortages, and supplier failures. Yeah, if we take, for example, food, medicine, pharma, and electronics, these are three. Just for an example, these are three major sectors which gave us a lot of challenges in the last 10 years. I would say about food. What will happen, medicine, and electronics. For example, we now know that major contributor in the electronic chips is Taiwan, and we know the situation between China and Taiwan. Taiwan produce a lot of major electronics and chips which are distributed around the world. And with the problems that were going on between China and Taiwan, people were very worried about it. What could be the outcome of that, and what is the next solution? Okay, what is it? Because people make a lot of questions, and we expect an answer, but we know that we don't. It's not easy to get an answer because who knows tomorrow what's going to be. Anyway, the other one is information disruptions, such as system outreach and inaccurate data. Yeah, visibility is very important in the supply chain and logistics and transport. So yeah, it's important that the trading partners are connected. They share information. They share data. Data is well kept in the organization. Against cyber tech and all this. Okay, etc. etc. It's important because and nowadays we depend all the supply chain and logistics and transport are all depends on the information technology. It all depends on it. Everything is connected. So it's important that our organization is well equipped with plans, emergency plans in place, etc., etc. Building supply chain resiliences. Yeah, diversity suppliers and transport routes. This is very important when we have our supply chain or we want to have Plan B and Plan C, that we do have diversity in suppliers and transport routes. It's important because um, one question which I always ask in my training with my delegates, with my participants in different countries, is most of the time we would say that 80% we are focusing, or maybe 90% we are focusing on the day-to-day operation, which we have to follow 100%. No, but sometimes we spend too little on try to create a worst case scenario, and we plan for it. So when I ask this question to my course delegates, and I ask them, do you study your plan B or plan C? And most of the time I get an answer, sir, we don't have time. We are too busy with our job. I would say, okay, I'm not going to blame you because you have to do your job and there are so many challenges going on. But you need to find time to see how you can have plan B or plan C because you might need it tomorrow. So find time, see how you can do it. Come, okay, ask your colleagues and come together to have plan B and plan C. Don't rely on the present. Don't, the present process is for the present situation. So many things are happening around us. So make sure that you have a plan B and plan C. Okay. Two, increase inventory buffers where needed. Yeah, it's not easy. I would have to admit it's not easy, because when we try to increase buffer, we increase inventory. It means we are increasing the budgets of the company, and everyone knows that budgets are very, very restricted nowadays. It's not easy. Okay, so basically, we need to find a system or a procedure where if we think that we're going to face some challenges in terms of supply markets or etc., we see how we can increase our inventory, implement flexible logistics networks. Yeah, this is a bit funny because in logistics and supply, which we say that we need a strong supply chain, but in the same time, we need a flexible approach. And people starts to get a bit confused in this. Why? Because they will tell you we need a strong or flexible. No, strong it means strong supply chain. Strong supply chain means that we need a good, strong relationship, okay, with our trading partners, okay. But in the same time, you need a flexible approach because when there is a change in the market, or suddenly there's something happen, we need people to be flexible in their approach, okay, and in the networks. So plan B have to come in place, okay. It's important, okay. And you have to train the not only the, you have to train the mindset and the approach of the people in this respect. Adopt real-time visibility tools. Yeah, this is very important in terms of control and supply chain. You need visibility in the supply chain and logistics. And the last one, which I spoke about, it is the strength supplier relationship. This is a crucial for everyone to know. Okay, everyone knows about this. Okay, technology role and risk, predicting analysis and AI forecasting. Yeah, I believe that um, AI is going to help a lot, okay, in terms of forecasting and predicting analysis, real-time tracking and Internet of devices, um, automated warehouse operations, which Mr. Shankaran have spoke around, cloud-based logistics platforms, which are very important, and digital twins for scenario modeling. We all know this, etc. So let's identify and assess methods. First, we need SWOT analysis and pestle analysis, strength, weakness, and opportunities, a framework to evaluate the internal capabilities of our organization and the external factors as well, like opportunities and threats. This is very important that when you sit down with your colleagues and try to create a plan A, plan B, and plan C, you carry out a SWOT analysis because you need to identify your strengths and weaknesses, and you need to come up with a real frame to etc. And also you need also to work on the external. This is very important. I would say that you must have fully control of the internal. You must have fully control of the internal so you can work on the external factors. So make sure you have a strong supply chain in your situation, and the flexible, but you should have fully control of your internal capabilities. The other one is the PESTEL. Yeah, we know about political, economic, social, etc. A tool which analyzes the external microenvironment factors and could impact operations. Okay, it's important. Failure mode and efforts analysis. Okay, a structure method to identify potential points of failure in process, product, or system, and assess their impact. This is very important in in trying to come up with a more robust and process and what you are producing or system. List possible failure modes such as truck breakdown or IT system outage. It's important. Evaluate severity, likelihood, and detectability, and assign a risk priority number to prioritize mitigation. This is very important. Okay, number three, assign a risk priority number to prioritize mitigation. This is very important in your plan B or plan C. It's very important. Okay, we need to be ready for every circumstances, and we should not have surprises. Okay, the surprises should be taken into a board and taken into on board and being evaluated, mitigated, and controlled. Okay, we should not have surprises which could break down the supply chain. and logistics and transport. We should be ready. I think from what has happened in the last 5 to 10 years, it should have give us a lesson, okay, how things should be now handled and managed. Next point, identify risk identification and message. Yeah, scenario planning is very important, a strategic tool to mitigate and prepare for different possible failures. So develop multi-scenarios, best case, worst scenario, most likely, to test how logistics operations would respond. Okay. Risk heat maps, a visual tool that plots risk on a grid base, like low or high or impact. It helps to prioritize which risk need immediate attention versus monitoring. And five is quantitative risk scoring. It's a numerical method tool to measure and compare risk using data-driven metrics. You assign scores for probability, impact, and disability, then calculate the composite risk score. And the benefit provides objective prioritization instead relying on quantitative judgment. This is very important. Okay, that you use a tool where you prioritize the risks, okay, and work on those most important and prioritize in your system. This is very important. um, Respond and mitigation strategies, clear emergency response plans, which I spoke already about, okay, cross function coordinator, this is very important, okay, cross function coordinator. And as I said, it's not a matter of making a plan B and plan C in your organization, but you need also to work with your suppliers. It's important. Alternative distribution channels. When things happens, you need to have alternative channels. Supplier agreements and contingency contracts. We need to understand each other and we need to speak the same language. So basically, with a good communication and relationship, okay, you can find a common ground to find a solution. And communication protocols is very important, as I spoke already about them. Okay. Conclusion is volatility is the new norm now. Volatility is the new norm. So as I said in my first presentation, what the process that you are using today, it doesn't mean that it's going to be the process tomorrow. Okay, so be ready for it because it is happening. It is happening. Okay, proactive risk management is essential. That all the staff is trained for plan B and plan C. Okay, they will not take it as a surprise, and that a change in process, change in approach, it will not be like a shock for them. This is very important because change management in a short notice can bring a bit of a shock to some people, and they would maybe, if they are not ready for it, they can find it very hard to cope with. Technology and visibility drive resilience. This is very important that you have a technology and visibility drive resilience. It's important. Collaboration approach across the supply chain is crucial, and prepare organization can turn disruption into opportunities. This is very important because from every lesson, from every circumstances, we learn something. As I said in my earlier discussion, okay, it's very important. Okay, thank you very much for that. Hello, Mr. Shak.
Yeah.
Can I stop sharing now? I can come on board.
Yeah. I'm there. I'm listening. Very insightful. Okay, so let us take up some questions and maybe we will discuss something for a few minutes for the rest of the time.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Um,
So, mhm.
yeah, I
Question number
mean, the point that I would like to mention when you look at the on a global level, on a global level, so um, it's like I think there are so many things without going into politics because that is not our area, but we have to mention it because these
correct,
people make the policies, right?
correct.
My point is not to touch politics. That is not our business. We leave that for the big guys. I'm talking about these guys make the policies, right? Which
Correct.
will affect us. You know, we have so many things happening around us. We have, if you take the whole American continent, you know, USA are coming up with so many figures in terms of customs, you know, percentages which have affected global way.
Tariffs.
Europe is trying to cope. You know, Europe is trying to cope and deal with this. Even allow me to say, even in Europe, you know, the scope of Europe. Allow me to say this. Allow me to say this.
Yeah.
Even we have time, okay?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We have time.
Okay.
Good time.
Even look what is happening. Even the scope of Europe is to have if to have a common ground and common rules and common standards in the European market, right? So if something is come out of Brussels in terms of from the Commission, every country should adopt that, you know. But you know what is happening? When if I take one example, it's a bit funny, but this is what is happening. When Trump brought out the new customs percentage, and everyone was, oh, this is going to affect everything, you know, boom, 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 everyone in different sectors, you know, in different sectors across different countries. We had so many prime ministers from you. I mean, let us look from our side, from Europe. We had so many prime ministers flying to the States.
Correct.
All right. I can mention a couple of them, but I don't want to go into that. They're flying to the States and start to negotiate. You know, now the funny thing is this, without making any bad image of nothing, because that's not my scope. But it should be the other way around. European leaders should have come together. They have
Together.
done it. They have done it. They should have come together around the table as they do, discuss what has come out from US in terms of customs, you know,
Tariffs.
percentage. Yeah. And then one person or one group of people go and negotiate with US. That's and they have done it. But apart from that, we had individual prime ministers flying to US. There were few of them, and started the discussion with Trump
One to one.
because because it was going to affect everything. You know, the whole pressure was coming from the ground. So you know how it is. It's a layer, right? It's the industry talking to the Chamber of Commerce. The chambers, it's a lobbying, talk to the minister. The minister talk to his prime minister, and then the prime will fly and talk to etc. So you know, it brought a lot of changes. You know, so many things. So the situation that business, if you take one simple organization working in food or medicine or electronics, they are working in a very restrictive budgets, restrictive inventory, so many pressures coming from every corner. You know, customer expectations. It's not easy. It's not easy. It's not easy. You know, so the risk can be small, can be medium or big, but it's a risk. You need to tackle it. You need to tackle it. And the most important, that the people who are working in that organization, they are open-minded, trained, and they are ready for a change, you know, because it's important that you try to adapt a strategy, small or large, for every situation that you are in. You have to be open, you know. That's important. That in the old days we used to call them supply chain planners. You know, we had the supply chain planners. I think one of the most important things now that they have in front of them is in these emergency situations. It's not a matter of plan your supply chain only now. It's that is there, but now it's what is happening, what could happen tomorrow, because there are so many pressures on us, you know, to stay in business, to sustain the business. You know, the market shares that our market share in the market. Are we going to keep it? Can increase it? So it's crucial, you know, it's crucial. And there is another thing. You need to take off your ego. You need to take off your ego. When the financial, I remember when the financial crisis hits Dubai in 2009, many people fly away out of Dubai for different reasons. You remember, many warehouses were half empty.
Empty, yeah.
You had you had competitors where when they some of them they have used their common sense, they have put their ego on the side, they have used their logical and common sense, and they have worked together. I have a friend of mine in Dubai. His name is Shankar Subramanian. He's a logistician. He's a very good friend of mine, and he used to work in Jafsa. And he used to tell me because so many cars are laid out in the stockyard without moving.
Correct, correct,
So
correct,
many
correct.
stock. So you can't. You have to put your ego on the side, and you say, "Look, what is the option one, option two, option three?" You must put your ego. And now that kind of model, that kind of emergency model, that kind of emergency mindset and model, which has happened during the financial crisis, during the pandemic, I think now
The same
that
scenario.
the same scenario now we have to keep it. Okay, it's not more an exception. The exception
Correct,
has become the norm of the day
correct, correct.
because there are so many things are happening around us. So many. Try to, if each one of us try to think in the last maybe 10 years how many things has happened, and the question is, are they going to stop? Probably not.
No.
Probably not. For many reasons. For many reasons. So we have to be prepared.
As you rightly said, supply chain planners. I was there as a supply chain planner long back. Okay, so we never consider scenarios, business scenarios as an input. Okay, so we were considering some assumptions and then doing all sort of planning. That was working, but now you need to really have a proper scenario planning process. You need to include like wars, you need to include the tariffs, you need to have the political disturbances in the in the region, and also some scarcity of the things. Okay, so considering all different scenarios, so you need to have a proper supply chain planning. Then only,
And
yeah. Hmm.
and there is another thing. I think you notice this. When US, again, I'm not going into politics. Okay, I'm just talking reality. When US had problems, but they still controlling the global trade through the dollar, right? You know that, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Now, someone told me that there are border transactions, financially border transactions, which are happening, and they are not dealing with dollar anymore. They are
Hmm.
dealing with yuan or
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The
so.
local
So
currency.
many things. So many things are happening now. So many things are happening.
Correct,
You
correct.
know. So there are things. There are things which we see, and there are things which we don't see. And you have to
Correct.
use your ground intelligence and market intelligence through different sources and make sure you have these kind of sources coming in. That's why you
Correct.
need good relationship with everyone. So many things.
So it's
This
it's
is
no more. You rightly said, keep the egos outside, because you may if you keep egos active, you may be out of business. Okay, so that's the reality now. You rightly
yeah,
said that.
China few years ago, we know that now China is the most global player worldwide. Right? There is no comparison. China is number one in everything, right?
Correct, correct.
And they do it in a low profile. They have been following the West through many decades, and now the last few years they have equipped themselves, so it's difficult to reach them now because
Yeah, yeah.
even in technology now and in shipping, they are number one by far, number one.
Everywhere.
So they couldn't take it. They couldn't take it that the dollar is still controlling the trade. They couldn't take it. So they started to make transaction in yuan, and it was accepted by Russia and other countries.
Correct, correct,
No,
correct.
even allow me to say, correct me if I'm wrong, but even the prime minister in India was very open on this, right? In doing business with many countries,
Correct.
especially not the West but the East.
Correct. No, Indian government is very open,
I
and
know, I know, I
yeah,
know.
Indian government
That's
wants
why
to
I'm
keep the
saying. That's
relationship
why I'm saying.
with everybody.
Etc. So anyway, so many things are happening because it's not a matter what we see, what is happening behind. This is the challenge. This is the challenge. What is happening behind? So many things, But anyway,
Excellent. So there are some questions. Okay, so
yes,
just
I can see
we
that.
have
Please.
10 more minutes.
Okay,
So
please.
we can just talk about 2 minutes on each question. So that will help supply chain warehouse managers and logistics managers. So question number one: how can we know that supply chains are resilient? Any good KPIs to really understand resilience in supply chain? This is a question number one.
Yeah. Um, from our side, from our side, that's why I said you need to have control over your supply chain, right? It's important. Okay, you need to have control. It's important. There is no excuses anymore. We can't have excuses inside our organization within our supply chain. We need to be equipped in all aspects, in all levels, okay, and sides, to make sure that we have control over our supply chain, and then we try to control the outbound of the supply chain with our etc. So it's very important. um, and something else, you need at least weekly or monthly meetings with your suppliers. Don't use the word them, it's us.
Correct.
It's not
Exactly.
anymore them, it's us. If something happens to them, happens to you. If
Correct.
something happens to you, it will affect them. So both we are in the supply chain. A supply chain needs to speak and understand the supplier supply chain. They need to be together, speak the same language. Okay, so it's important the approach that we use. It's not them, it's us. Collaborative. It's important. Okay, it's a huge. And as I said, uh, you need a strong supply chain, but flexible in the same time. It's important. It's huge.
Exactly.
And um, yeah, that's it. I mean,
Fantastic.
so it's important. Speak continuously. Look, speak continuously with your suppliers. Don't rely not only in the internal. It's important to take the feedback from the internal, from your organization. It's important, especially bottom up approach rather than top down. Bottom up. It's important to take the feedback of everyone. Okay, it's everyone. Uh, Mr. Shak, let me tell you something through my experience. In 1999, very long time back, okay, very long time back, I was doing an assignment on a local manufacturing firm in Malta, and for a 6 months they introduced ISO, and one of the gap analysis on the ISO page was the organize the warehousing and logistics. And I learned something there. Even the person who are looking after the cleaning of the warehouse can give you feedback about many things, because he is across, and he is everywhere in every corner of the warehouse, and he monitor everything. So the lesson I have learned is take feedback from everyone, don't assume nothing, and also speak with your suppliers. It's important. Okay, find the time. There is no excuses. Find the time. Many people brings a lot of excuses. Find the time. Find the time, and organize your supply chain with their lessons, and speak to your suppliers. It's important.
Fantastic. Fantastic. So supply chain resilience is everybody's job. You have to really monitor it and then pay
Yes,
attention to it.
yes, yes,
Fantastic.
yes,
So, the second question is how to assess the cost of disruptions in real time, because there are so many disruptions going on. So how can we, as a supply chain manager or a warehouse manager or a logistics manager, so how can we know the impact, either in form of cost or something? Okay, so if you want to do any optimization initiative, okay, so you need to have a justification,
yes.
right?
Okay,
Okay, so
okay.
how do that?
So,
How do you in real time? How can do that?
okay. So sorry if I repeat a bit. Sorry if I repeat a bit. Okay.
No problem.
As Mr. Shankaran have said, okay, make sure you have a total ownership of your warehouse, of your distribution center. Make sure you have a total ownership, and total ownership brings, obviously, the cost of the cost of ownership, right? So if you have ownership, you know the cost of ownership. right? We agree on that?
Yeah, yeah, correct, correct.
Okay, so on our inbound, we should have total control of the ownership. Even if we subcontract part of the logistics or supply chain, we should know the cost of that as well. Okay, we should have control. We should have control and cost. So on the outbound, we should be in control of the situation. On the external issues, if you keep good relationship with your suppliers and with your third parties, which are supporting you in your logistics, etc., you should know also the cost of what is happening right now, and potentially what could be the percentage that could affect your supply chain logistics model. It's not easy to have a total. It's not easy to give. The question is, can you be 100% on the external cost? Not always. You
No,
can be
no.
maybe 70%, 60, 70%, 75%. But no shipper, shipping cost, transport cost, fuel cost could rise up, especially when there is a high demand, they increase the cost. What they do. In Dubai, it happens all the time in the shipping because they have a marketing monopoly in shipping. So sometimes from time to time they do it. They increase the cost. So at least you try to anticipate the cost which could affect in a established route and an established market. You could have a s- you can have you could, you can establish your cost in established route and market. But in a new route and new markets where you're trying to adventure your new, try to grow, it's not easy it's not easy. There's the in my presentation, there's the pestle control, which I spoke about it. You need to use that kind of model to try to identify where are the costs in the external logistics, where could be affected, and try to come up with priority. Okay, priority where could be the high cost, medium, or low cost in the
Correct.
external logistics, external supply chain. Okay, you need to work on that. You need to work on that, and you need to budget. That's
Hmm.
why I said don't be surprised. If you are surprised, if in today's business you are surprised with circumstances that are happening with you around you, it means you have a crisis management.
Correct, correct.
You have a crisis management around you. So to avoid that, don't be surprised because things are happening and continue
Hmm.
to happen. So
Hmm.
plan for it, budget for it, and organize yourself. Okay? Because many logistics managers or supply chain managers, they face a challenge with the costings, with the
Hmm.
cost. There's something happens geopolitical somewhere, or with the border, and suddenly they are faced with huge challenges because they need to deliver. They need to deliver with a promise, So suddenly the cost goes up. You need to budget for these things. Okay, you need to budget. So make sure that continuously find time to work on plan B and plan C. So when it happens, you're ready for it. Don't be surprised.
Hmm.
Don't be surprised nowadays
So
because it happens.
include, yeah, even the vendors, they should include the risk factor in their costing. And
Yes,
even
of course,
the,
of
yeah, even
course,
the other manufacturers don't squeeze so much that your vendors will go out of business.
of course.
Eventually, that will create a big problem for you too. Okay, I think that was a question. There are two questions regarding that about the risk. So the question number three is, how do the supply chain risk analysis? How to do the supply chain risk analysis? Who is responsible to do this? Finance or supply chain or both? That is the one question. The second is how to
Um,
budget. How to budget
okay,
risk mitigation
okay. I
activities.
start from the bottom one. Who is responsible? I think it's the supply chain manager who should come up with the first model, to propose. Uh, plan A and plan B. This is what we are doing today. And this, the worst case scenario and the normal scenario, he needs to create these scenarios. And based on those scenarios, he give a cost, and then sit down with the financial controller and budget for those different situations and budget for them. Okay, so when it happens, you are not surprised, you are not, okay, and the financial controller is not surprised, they are ready. And
Correct.
unfortunately, allow me to say, few people do it. few people do it Few people do it. I can talk a lot about it
Yeah.
because financial controllers are doing a lot of pressure on supply chain people. Supply chain
Correct.
people are faced with pressures from the internal and customer expectations. It's not an easy task, but you have to do it. Find time and do it. It's a matter of approach. It's a matter of approach, nothing else.
I
It's the
think we
way.
need to have a discipline. We need to have a
No,
discipline
it's a
into.
matter. This is the case. Many people bring a lot of ideas to their minds, and they are very good. But there are some people, I can see it from training. There are some people, they lack the transfer selling of idea. Okay, the way they transfer the message to the financial control. Financial controllers, their main job is to save money. That's it. No, nothing else. That's it. Saving costs means making profits, right? So to the shareholder, so they are their task. But the supply chain manager should find the right approach, because they have a lot of ground people are the one on the operations. They are seeing everything. So a lot of ideas comes to their minds. Because how many days you're going to go home and you are facing the same problem? It's ridiculous. So you need to come with ideas. It's logical. The ideas comes to your mind how to tackle it. But then you have to give it a cost. And that model, you have to sell it to your financial controller at the end of the day. And you have to sit down and you have to explain to him. And okay, the benefits of having plan A, plan B, and plan C with a budget.
Excellent.
What was the other one? Yeah, how to do a supply chain risk analysis. Yeah, I have in my presentation, I have gave some examples on that, right? About which business models you can use in terms of priorities, numbering, etc. So in one of my slides, I think there is the answer for that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You can look at it.
Okay. So yeah, I think we are done with the questions. So please brief key takeaways, Alex, to the audience. So we
Um, okay, number one, the supply chain is a very people who work in supply chain, they should enjoy it. Why? Because it's fantastic. You learn a lot. You meet so many people. Every day is a new day. But brings with it challenges. If you stay alert of if you have a total control of your insight, you learn every day from everyone, you communicate, you work, and you enjoy what you're doing, because that's the important thing. You enjoy what you're doing and you work as a team, okay? And you have a total control on the run. Then you can also, you can stay alert on the external factors which are happening around you. And as soon something comes to you and reach you, start work on it, because tsunamis are happening and you have to be ready for these tsunamis. That's it. But you need to enjoy it, okay? You need to be proactive, okay? And because it's not going to stop. So you have to be proactive and ready for it, okay? Keep on learning, especially on AI. AI it's become a very important tool. Keep learning, okay? About keep yourself learning about AI and research. Research is very important. Research on in every aspect, okay? Um, uh, going to a college, to university, obtain bachelor's diploma, bachelor's or master's. It's important. I'm coming from education sector as well, so but it's not enough. It's not enough. Things are happening, things are ongoing, things are evolving, and you have to keep updated all the time. Okay, and the last point, Also, evolving brings also on the on the IT. Yeah. So we're talking about research not only on the process but on on geopolitical, so many things, and also on IT. And the last important point is the environment around you. Make sure you have a good team around you, a good team around you, and you contribute. It's not us, as I said. It's not them. It's us. Work as a team together, collaborate, educate yourself, educate them, help together. You have a problem, share it, work on it together, because it's not a matter. You cannot take it on your own. You have to work as a team. Okay, don't take it all by yourself. It's too much. So work on a team and work together. In fact, we all know when a new prime minister, a new president is elected, what he do? He brings the right people around him because he cannot do it on his own, right? So even a football manager or a sports manager, he brings the right people around him to organize that sports thing. It's the same thing. Organize the team around you and work together. Give the empowerment to people. Sit down, think, work on it. Okay, create that type of environment where everyone feels that he's a something, not a number. It's important.
Excellent. Excellent. Very, very insightful discussion. Very insightful lecture, Alex. Thank you for sharing wonderful points. It's very important not just to go only theoretical, because hearing to somebody like you who are experienced in global logistics and supply chain is very important for every professional. Okay, so on behalf of all the participants, I would like to thank you, Alex.
Can I say something if you allow me?
Yeah, yeah, please. Yeah.
In our sector, I'm coming from the Institute of Supply Chain, right? So it's a bit another sector from the education. Even in the education sector, okay, things are changing a lot. So it's not only on the field of logistics and land transport and supply chain. Things are changing. Okay,
Excellent.
I give you one example. Sometimes you go in a lecture room in a university or college. Okay, you open your PowerPoint and all the students are with the gadgets, and they start or with the laptops and they start searching what the topic you are going to talk
Correct.
about, and they have already the solution, and and you even didn't start it. So even lecturers nowadays have to change their approach.
Yeah, you
Okay,
should be smart.
because you prepare for the section, and suddenly you are faced with a situation where if you don't have a change management mentality, you will be
You
you'll
will be in
finish.
trouble.
You lose credibility. So this is happening in every sector. Thank you very much. It was a wonderful experience. Looking
Thank you,
forward.
Alex. Great. On behalf of team, I would like to thank Alex, Alexander Borg, very senior supply chain expert and logistics expert across from Europe. So thank you, Alex, for wonderful lecture. Please
Thank
post
you.
your questions if they need anything for Alex, and we are happy to get answers to them offline. Okay, so I take this as an opportunity to thank Alex and then go to the next